Hey, Etoma, pumped up?
Pumped up?
For the show?
Always.
Okay, always. Let's go. Well, there's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. Like, you know, at some point we will go to Abuja where we have the FCT brief, and then we'll also have trending. We have the newspaper review. We have quite an intriguing interview on the show later on. So yes, do make sure you grab your cup of coffee and let's have a fantastic show this morning. But we'll start with the story where the federal government says it is intensifying negotiations with academic and non-academic unions in tertiary institutions to reach a lasting agreement on their welfare and working conditions. Now, Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's directive that students must remain in school while talks continue. Maria Mohammed reports on this.
At this press briefing, the Minister of Education, Maruf Alausa, said Tinubu administration is determined to end the circle of strikes that has disrupted academic calendars for years.
That same committee would negotiate with academic and non-academic unions so that they can have a full breadth of what their needs are. And I can tell you today, I've seen all the requests from all these unions at the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. 80% of those requests are about the same. Though the 20% of the requests are based on peculiar needs of the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education.
The minister disclosed that the government's technical working group is finalizing a counteroffer to the Academic Staff Union of Universities and other tertiary unions. The proposal will be submitted to the Yayali Ahmed-led Expansion Negotiation Committee for harmonization. He explained that progress has been made with 50 billion naira released for arrears and allowances, 150 billion naira budgeted for the Needs Assessment Fund to be disbursed this year. The minister also noted that involving the Solicitor General in the process will ensure all agreements are legally binding and enforceable.
The end academic allowance has been paid. The government president released 50 billion. That's been paid months ago. Even the needs assessment that tertiary institutions have been fighting for almost 15 years. President put 150 billion naira in this 2025 budget, and he promised us that they will release it in tranches of 50 billion, in tranches of 3 tranches. We have the 50 billion now waiting. So this president is meeting all the commitments, all the promises to the unions. Your promotion arrears, the issues have been resolved. We've spoken to the DG budget. Issues have been resolved. By next year, in 2026, all arrears will be paid.
With negotiation nearing conclusion, the government says it expects the Yayali Ahmed Committee's final report soon, a move that could signal a new era of stability across Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, thank you so much, Miriam. Etoma, you know, whenever we speak about education, I am very passionate because I understand what education does for every economy. I'm happy that the president is saying that, you know what, students must be in school while the negotiation is going on. You know, no student deserves to be out of school. We're hearing 50 billion, we're hearing 150 billion. I am just hoping that this monies finally get to the destination they're supposed to get to, because oftentimes we hear a lot of beautiful, you know, amount of money, but at the end of the day, it's like a cut short somewhere. It doesn't get to these people. We speak about welfare of teachers. We know how teachers have come out to complain. We've seen riots. We've seen strikes. But what do you make of this? And do you think this is a means to an end?
Yes. You know, over 80 institutions have agreed to be part of the strike. Yeah. And that is not a good sign. Let me talk to you a little bit about ASUU and the way they behave. ASUU is a very responsible union, if I can say that and tell you this directly. It's before it goes on strike, it tries to exhaust every other avenue. Yeah. They see strike as the very last resort. And if it is getting towards situations that are looking as if, look, we have to go on strike, they consult institution by institution, you know. And so far, over 80, I think 83, between 83 and 87 institutions say, yes, we support you, we will go on the strike. So setting up a committee right now, I don't think is the right thing to do. What the minister was reeling out about what the federal government has done, the budgetary allocation, the monies that has been approved and appropriated and waiting, which is the 50 billion, take that information to ASUU. We have till midnight on Sunday. And when they start, look, I can still remember the 8-month strike that happened, and it makes me feel somehow. So I think the minister should continue with whatever you're doing, putting the committee together. But the important thing is have a meeting with ASUU now, tell ASUU what you have just said, and show them proof.
Show proof. Olamide, let me come to you on this one. Oftentimes, we know how this strike affects the students. A lot of students leave Nigeria to go and study abroad because they'll tell you the years of being in school is just too much. And we're seeing that, you know, the federal government is having conversations. We may get to a very good point. But my only cry is the out-of-school children as well. You know, are we really looking into that?
Absolutely. I think dialogue is very important, but we must not spend too much time on dialogue, you know, because this is very time contingent. For years, Nigeria's tertiary institutions have been subject to, their calendars have been subject to strike-driven disruptions, and it's absolutely unacceptable. I truly believe that we've seen the effects of, like you said, a lack of education. I always say this, there's a fallout from every system. When you have children who are spending years in school, it affects the timing in which they come into the workforce. It in turn affects our labor force. Then you now enter the labor force, you're now dealing with issues of welfare. Everything is a domino effect. And so I want to see dialogue, but what I want to see the most is policy and implementation. A lot of people have said that this government, they focus a lot on infrastructure. It's good to see that the dialogue is now towards health and education and things that are actually ingrained in the welfare of the Nigerian.
No, I love the fact that you're focusing on education. Ibrahim, let me come to you with this one. You know, just like Etoma said, the strikes that happen and all of that. Do you think that this conversation, because I'm not being pessimistic, but we've had conversations like this before. You know, we've had beautiful monies being called, but at the end of the day, it just goes down the drill. What do you think this, you know, will do?
And is one thing I tend to realize, you know, as a result of this, that it's quite different from the way previous administrations went about it. Because at the time you hear ASUU coming on air, you know, shouting, making a hell of a noise. You know, we've had, you know, different professors who had led, you know, that union. But this time around, you can see that people, because these are people from the academia, so they are having very important, conversation with the government. The government said we've budgeted 150 million naira, you know, during the 2025 budget. We've also done this and that, and you can see that they are having dialogue. They are being, you know, rational about things they say. The government is being, you know, giving account of its stewardship. So you could see that the government is saying, this is what we've done. This is what we are able to do. This is what we are planning to also do. So with that, they are dealing with people who are intellectuals. And then they can see that, yes, there is genuineness in what the government is trying to, you know, help them, you know, resolve. So as I've always said, a nation cannot rise above the quality of the teachers. If we are saying we want a better economy, we want a better Nigeria, the students and what we teach them, how we teach them, the duration of time we also teach them also really matter. So this will also help people think, we are, you know, steering the right course rather than saying, let us run out of the country, go study abroad.
You know, I think for me, the only good aspect that I really love is the fact that the president is saying that no child should be out of school while negotiations are going on, because we've had enough of it and we need every Nigerian child to have proper education.